What are the struggles?
Obstacles. Obstacles in project development in the Philippines.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the stuff we've been talking about in previous panels. Also, both project financing initially, getting land access, the 250 signatures that was mentioned earlier, the transmission access. There's a long list for sure. Where we come in is on the financing side, and the point that was raised earlier of bankability of some of these projects. So we view our financial market as yet, kind of one tool that can be used. It's not a replacement for GAP or a replacement for long-term bilaterals. It's another tool that can blend in. So just as an example, a project that's 100 megawatt solar, instead of doing 100 megawatt long-term 15-year offtake, which can be difficult to negotiate, we've talked with solar developers that maybe it's a 100 megawatt project, they get 80 megawatts contracted, they've got 20 megawatts left, and they're kind of stuck. It takes another 6 months or 9 months to find somebody to take the remainder, and the bank isn't comfortable with merchant Wesson exposure for that 20%. Now they can use a financial hedge for at least 12 months forward or 18 or 24 months forward and give the project the ability to get started and then use those next 12 or 18 months to find a PSA for the remaining 20 megawatts. It also seems to differ bank to bank. Some of the banks are a bit more comfortable with some merchant exposure, some less comfortable. On the topic of kind of Philippines versus other parts of the world, banks and investment banks in Australia and the US, they're more comfortable with some merchant exposure, particularly if you're also using the hedging market or the futures market to provide some at least short to medium term stability. So these are things that are all happening right now. In fairness to the banks, there hasn't been a hedging market until relatively recently. And so we've met a number of the local Philippine banks and have gotten a good response from them. For them to change their underwriting approaches obviously takes some time to play out. But certainly project financing has been an important challenge or obstacle. And it's exciting to see there's some new tools coming out that can hopefully bring more financing, bring more capital into the market.
Okay, can you have your opinion here, Ms. Jian?
Aside from financial constraints and the regulatory constraints, there's also the physical constraints. So again, it goes back to transmission. We have seen some winning projects already committed but face curtailment. And so what we need is a properly planned transmission system. The DOE has some of the recipes for this in place. They have the competitive retail electricity zones, but we have yet to see it actually incorporated into the transmission development plan. And for VRE, we really need the support in terms of ancillary services. We have more mechanisms in place to support that also. We have the reserves market, but we also want to see the reserves market be allowed to do what it's supposed to do and provide the price signals that it's supposed to issue without much of the market interventions that we see also. So in terms of technical physical constraints, those are what we see. Financing, in terms of financing, more alternative markets would help developers also find financing. Like we haven't seen the full effects yet of the renewable energy market for RE certificates. That policy has also been in place. It has been generating certificates since 2018, but no one is trading just yet because the policy is not yet requiring the use of those certificates. So once the policy fully mandates RBS, then we would see trading for RE certificates also. And then RE developers would also have alternative sources of financing, or contracts and sales. So I think it's really, in order for us to unlock those roadblocks, we need to unleash the whole gamut of RE policies that we already have in place.
Okay, Carlo.
Yearly, we answered that question.
Yes.
And yearly, I always say that being in renewables, we're still a business, we're not a charity. So, I mean, and everybody's here. That's very true. So I guess that's where the risking is really a major issue when it comes to doing the business. So I guess we've already talked so much about regulatory, we've already talked so much about the transmission constraint. The others that I'd like to put in would be the political factors. Like for example, for foreigners to come in, the Philippines has to maintain an investment status. And I'm not sure if it's currently in danger, but hoping it's not. That we will lose our number two status if that investment status of investment rating of the Philippines will change. Hoping we're one, if I'm not mistaken, we're one level higher than the minimum. So we're hoping that it will be better in the next in the short term and the long term. Second is that there's a lot of problems when it comes to market economics. This is your specialty. The forex. There is this move wherein there's now this thinking that maybe, just maybe, since you are sourcing everything, I mean, let's face it, the majority of the supply chain is coming from China. And maybe, in terms of financing versus USD, you finance RMB. So, I think it's a time of a lot of innovations is now being required in the technical side, in the regulatory side, and the even in the financial side of how we do things. There's a lot of ideas, but what we need, and I think, long story short, what we need is certainty. That the risk, that things are the risk. So stability is where we strive to be. Again, strive, because we know that it will never be stable. There will be a lot of movement. But yeah, there, Ms. Ruth. What I can just say of all the problems that we've raised, certainly in the more than a decade of RE in the Philippines, I think we're in a much better position now. After the pandemic, after everything, I'm hoping that the prime time of RE back then was the feed-in tariff. Like renewables back then was sprouting like mushrooms. Wind farms were being built everywhere, solar farms were being built everywhere. That's why there was a constraint in Negros, because everyone was there. This RPS, I think, and this auction, if done properly, will revive that golden era of RE.
Okay, the obstacles are not renewables. These are ongoing, continuous. Number one obstacles in RE is number one, land. When we started doing RE, land is very cheap, and there are no agents. So after 5 years, how much is the land per square meter? How much is the price per square meter per conversion? How many years? 2008. It's now 2024. How much is the value now for 1 square meter? Before we started by doing solar, the price was 5 pesos per square meter. Now it's 25. Or say 250. Some 300 pesos per square meter. So where the price of solar in the market for tariff has gone down, the price of supplies has gone down, the land increases like that. Also, the permitting process, the LGUs has learned to know the art of corruption, actually. Every signature has a price. And also, of course, the very number one problem on grid. It's always been spontaneous grid modernization that never ended. So it's always been a problem to us. However, we go solar, we go wind, and also we go biomass, we go hydro, we go geothermal. Since it is not only our business, it's our passion, we still continue. Every year we see each other here. For more than a year, I see each and every one attending. I've seen him in 2015, and I still see him now. So we never stop doing RE because we have a vision to do RE. Now, moving forward, do you see in the Philippines potential for local manufacturing in RE value chain? Can we do it in the Philippines? Ian?
Well, currently, if you look at our GDP, we are a very service-driven economy. Industry is only coming in second. So in terms of growth, we have a lot of room for growth. So hopefully we maximize that in the next 25 years. We boost our own manufacturing sector, boost our own industrial sector, so that our economy would stand not just on one leg, but hopefully three. So it's going to be a service with industry and agriculture, and in all those sectors, there's room for RE.
I think